Imagine this. It's a quiet evening. You're cozy on the couch with your partner, nestled under a soft blanket. You both gaze at each other, but there's an invisible question floating in the air. Are we doing it enough? You both have wondered about this, haven't you? Well, my dear friend, let me take you on a journey of scintillating facts and scientific studies that will light up those shadows of doubt. Now hold on to your hat because we're diving deep into the steamy realm of intimacy and age. You see, our bodies are like finely tuned instruments. They change rhythm as we age. That's life's symphony playing out. And just as every instrument plays beautifully at its own pace, so does our need for physical intimacy. It varies with time. It ebbs and flows like waves upon a shore. But here's where it gets intriguing. Sex isn't just about pleasure or procreation. It has profound effects on our health and happiness too. The frequency can impact everything from your heart health to mental well-being, to even how youthful you look. Yes, indeed. Yet society often shushes these conversations down hushed corridors or behind closed doors. But why should they be? After all, aren't we all curious souls eager to understand ourselves better? So today I invite you to pull back the velvet curtain of societal taboos and step into the enlightening world of sexual wellness according to age. Together we'll wade through the waters of research done by experts across fields such as psychology, sexology, cardiology. Yes, there is such a thing, who have dedicated their lives towards understanding this powerful human connection. Welcome aboard this bold exploration. Brace yourself for some surprises as we unravel how often should you really be having sex according to your age, and trust me when I say you're about to find out now. Let's dive right in, my friend. Imagine this. You're at a dinner party, and the conversation takes an unexpected turn towards intimate relationships. Suddenly, the million-dollar question pops up. How often do you have sex? Awkward silence ensues as everyone around the table shuffles uncomfortably in their seats. But what if you knew that frequency could vary greatly according to your age? I bet you're intrigued now. After all, it's human nature to pair ourselves with others, especially when it comes to our sex lives. And let me tell you something. We've all been there, wondering if we're normal. But here's the catch. There isn't one simple answer. You see, sexual activity is influenced by numerous factors like health conditions, emotional well-being, stress levels, and let's not forget, desire itself. However, age can be one of those key elements in determining how often people engage in intimate moments. Picture this. You're fresh out of your teenage years into your early 20s. Hormones are raging. Libido is at its peak. The National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior found that young adults aged between 18 and 29 tend to have sex an average of 112 times per year, roughly twice a week for those who are mathematically challenged. As we slip into our 30s, though, things start to change subtly. Work pressures mount up, family responsibilities creep in, leading to less time for intimacy or even fatigue kicking in. Occasionally, research shows that individuals between ages 30 and 39 have sex about 86 times per year on average, still more than once a week. But what about when you hit the big 40, or better yet, 50? While it may seem like a distant reality for some of us now, remember this: sexuality doesn't fade away with age. It simply evolves. In fact, many couples find their sex lives improving as they age, with increased understanding and communicate. So don't despair if you're no longer hitting those youthful numbers. Your 40s might see you getting intimate around 69 times per year on average, while your 50s can look forward to about 52 intimate encounters annually. Remember this, though. These are just averages based on the general population. They don't define what's normal or ideal for you personally. The key is to find a rhythm that works for both you and your partner without letting societal pressures dictate your bedroom activities. Because when it comes to sex, quality always trumps quantity, so buckle up. We're only just beginning our journey into the world of sexual frequency according to age. Welcome back, my friend. I bet you've been wondering where we left off last time, right? We were delving deep into the world of sexual frequency according to age, a topic often shrouded in silence and misconception. Let's continue our journey together. Imagine this. You're in your early 20s, feeling at the peak of your physical prowess. The hormones are raging, passions run high. It's an exhilarating period filled with exploration and discovery. In these wonder years, sex can be as frequent as the changing winds, sometimes multiple times a day or week. Now let's fast forward a little bit to the age bracket of 39 years old. At this stage, life begins to get complicated with work commitments, family responsibilities, and other adult duties that demand attention. Sex may not be an everyday affair, but it hasn't packed its bags and left town. Either it could range from several times a week to several times a month. The narrative shifts slightly when you hit your fabulous 40s and 50s. There might be some drop in frequency here as hormonal changes kick in, particularly for women entering menopause. But that doesn't mean your sex life has to go on hiatus. Let me share a story about Jane, not her real name. Jane is 52 years old with 2 grown-up children who have flown the nest, leaving her with more free time than she knows what to do with. She tells me her sex life has never been better because she now has the luxury of time without interruptions from kids or work pressures. Beyond 50, though, there's no hard and fast rule saying you must hang up your spurs. Age is just a number after all. It's about how young you feel at heart. Look at George. Again, not his real name. He's 72 and living proof that passion doesn't have an expiration date. He says he and his wife enjoy intimate moments at least once a week, proving that intimacy is not exclusively the domain of youth. So there you have it. The frequency of sex can vary widely depending on your age, circumstances, health status, amongst others. What's important is that it remains a consensual, pleasurable experience for both partners, regardless of how often it happens. Remember, it's not about keeping up with some societal standard or ticking off boxes on a schedule. It's about finding what works best for you, because when it comes to sex, quality always trumps quantity. All right, now, let's dive deeper into the nitty-gritty of our topic. You might be wondering, how exactly does age factor into the frequency of your intimate encounters? Let's explore this together with some examples and practical cases. Imagine you're in your roaring 20s, pumped full of hormones and exploring the wonders that intimacy brings. According to research conducted by Archives of Sexual Behavior, young adults aged between 20 and 30 typically have sex over 80 times a year. That's more than once a week. But remember, it's not about hitting numbers. It's about creating meaningful connections and understanding what works best for you. As we sail towards our 30s, careers take center stage, and perhaps even children come into play. You're juggling multiple responsibilities, which can lead to a decrease in sexual activity. Don't fret, though it's completely normal. A study from social psychological and personality science suggests that couples in their 30s have sex around 55 times per year on average, still around once a week. Now, let's fast forward to our fabulous 40s and 50s. Despite popular belief, passion doesn't die down as we age, it merely evolves. The American Journal of Medicine found that nearly half of men and women aged between 40-59, remain sexually active regularly. Although frequency might lessen to around 20 times per year as reported by the Kinsey Institute, the focus shifts toward quality rather than quantity. What about when retirement rolls around? Well, my friend, don't discount those golden years just yet. Many seniors report maintaining an active sex life well into their 70s and beyond, proving that passion knows no age limit. But here is where I want you to pause for a moment. These statistics are just averages serving as benchmarks. They do not define normal. Your sexual journey is unique to you. There is no right or wrong number when it comes to how often you should be engaging in intimate activities. The critical thing to remember is that communication, comfort, and consent are the cornerstones of any sexual relationship. Whether you're just embarking on your sexual journey or navigating the seas of later life love, take time to understand your needs and desires. So here's to finding what blazes a trail in your heart and bedroom at any age, because when it comes to sex, it's not about keeping pace with anyone else, but creating experiences that fulfill you and strengthen your relationship. After all, it's quality over quantity that truly sets the stage for sizzling romance. Always remember this: your pleasure is your own. Don't let anyone else dictate its rhythm or frequency for you. Well, when we've crossed the threshold into our 30s, there's a certain maturity and understanding that comes with it. You're more in tune with your body. You know what works for you and what doesn't, and you're not afraid to express this to your partner. The frequency of sex might decrease, but the quality, oh darling, it only gets better. Let's say hello to Jane, a 34-year-old marketing manager who's been married for 7 years. She confessed that her intimate life wasn't as spontaneous or frequent as it was in her 20s. But she discovered something profound. I quote, "When I stopped fretting about how often we were doing it and focused on making each time special and satisfying, my relationship improved drastically." Turns out Jane was onto something. Now consider Mike, a 38-year-old software developer who loves his job but also knows the importance of work-life balance. He shared an interesting perspective. He says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he appreciates the emotional connection more now than before. Sex isn't just an act, it's an experience. One which can be enjoyed at its own pace without being rushed or pressured. It's true, sex is not just about reaching a climax. It's about enjoying every moment leading up to it. The foreplay, the intimate conversation, the shared laughter, and everything else in between. In your 30s, responsibilities increase. There are careers to think about, maybe children too. But don't let these factors diminish the sparks. Instead of letting busyness dictate your sexual rhythm, find ways to incorporate sensuality into everyday moments. A lingering kiss before leaving for work. An unexpected passionate embrace. So while research shows us that people aged 30-39 have sex around 86 times per year, which translates roughly into once or twice a week, you should remember that this is just an average. It's not a benchmark you need to hit or exceed. What matters more than frequency is the quality of your sexual encounters and how satisfied both you and your partner feel afterwards. So don't stress about numbers. Instead, focus on creating sizzling, memorable moments with your partner that resonate with happiness, satisfaction, and love. Remember, at the end of the day, it's not about keeping up with societal norms or averages. It's about what feels right for you and your partner. And, as we've seen from Jane and Mike, sometimes less can indeed be more, if it's quality over quantity in every sense of the phrase. Keep it Hodge. stepping into time of our captivating discussion on how often you should be having sex based on your age. Let's delve into the golden. Yes, I'm talking about those who are 60 and beyond. Now, you might think that sex in the later stages of life is a taboo topic, or maybe it slows down significantly. Well, let me tell you, my friend, you're only as old as you feel. The key here is to focus on intimacy and emotional connection rather than just physical pleasure. Consider this. Studies show that many couples aged 65 and over are still regularly engaging in sexual activities. In fact, one study found that nearly half of men and women in this age bracket were getting it on at least once per week now. Isn't that something? But before you start comparing yourself to these numbers, remember, it's not a competition. Each individual couple has their own rhythm and pace when it comes to intimacy. And there's no right or wrong frequency so long as both partners are comfortable with it. Let's take Robert and Susan, for instance. They've been married over 40 years now, yet they cherish their intimate moments together more than ever before, even though they don't happen quite as frequently as when they were younger. For them, it's all about quality, not quantity. They enjoy slower-paced love-making, filled with affectionate touches, expressive gazes, and whispered sweet nothings, which leave them feeling deeply connected despite the dwindling frequency. And remember that emotional connection can be just as rewarding, if not more so, than physical satisfaction alone. So don't worry if things aren't quite what they used to be physically. You have a lifetime of shared experiences, love, and commitment, which makes every moment spent together, even the non-sexual ones, intensely intimate years. So whether you're like Robert and Susan, or among those feisty seniors keeping things hot several times a week, remember to focus on the quality of your connection, not the quantity. Listen to your bodies, communicate openly with each other, and above all, enjoy yourselves. But what about those who are single or newly dating in their golden years? Well, that's a whole different ball game, and we'll explore it in our next segment. Stay tuned for more juicy insights into how often you should get busy based on your age. In the meantime, keep it hot, keep it steamy, and remember, it's not about how often, it's all about making every moment count. Long, we've been on quite an enlightening journey together, haven't we? We've explored the various ages and stages of sexual activity, delving into what's considered normal or average. But remember, every person is unique, with their own desires and needs. So let's keep going deeper. Picture this. You're in your 40s now. Life has become a juggling act between work, family responsibilities, maintaining a social life. Yes, it still exists. And finding time for yourself amidst all that chaos. Amidst the daily hustle-bustle of life, you may find the frequency of sex taking a back seat. But hey, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Consider Sarah and John. They're both in their mid-40s with demanding careers and 2 teenage kids who seem to have endless activities. They found themselves falling into bed each night exhausted, without any energy for intimacy. Over time, they realized this was causing strain in their relationship. Something had to change. So here's what they did. Every Sunday night became date night. No matter how hectic their week was or how many soccer games they needed to attend, they carved out this sacred time for just them two. This rekindled spark wasn't merely about having sex more frequently. It was about reconnecting on a deeper level. Moving forward into your 50s and beyond, the so-called golden years, you might experience changes in your body that can affect your sexual drive or performance due to menopause or health conditions like arthritis or diabetes. It's natural for these factors to alter the frequency of sexual encounters, but it shouldn't imply an end to intimacy. Let's take Robert and Laura as an example. A couple navigating through their late 50s with grace and vigor, despite some health issues creeping up on them. They discovered new ways of expressing love. Holding hands while watching sunset together from their porch, whispering sweet words into each other's ears, or simply cuddling under the blanket with a glass of wine. These actions kept the flame of their romance alive, even if they weren't engaging in sexual intercourse as often as before. So, my dear friend, there you have it. The frequency of sex can indeed change as we age. But remember always, it's not just about the physical act itself, but about maintaining that connection and intimacy with your partner. As we age and evolve, so too should our understanding and expression of love and intimacy. And remember, there is no normal, only what feels right for you and your partner at this stage of your journey together. Stay adventurous, stay connected, make every moment count. So, there you have it. The journey of intimacy is a wild and wonderful ride that's as unique as you are. It's not dictated by numbers on a page or a calendar, but rather the rhythm of two hearts in sync. Age isn't just a number, it's an accumulation of experiences, wisdom, and growth. And your sex life is no different. From the fiery passion of youth to the deep connection in maturity, each phase has its own flavor. Remember that exploring your desires is not something confined to any specific age bracket. You're never too young or too old to discover new facets of your sensuality. It's like being an explorer. There are always new territories within yourself and your partner waiting to be discovered. But exploration needs communication, the courage to express what makes you feel good and what doesn't, to ensure that the journey is enjoyable for both travelers involved. Whether it's once a week or every day, frequency should be something agreed upon by both parties involved, not decided by societal norms or expectations. Consider this. Sex isn't about how often, but how often. How deeply can you connect? How fully can you express love? How freely can you give pleasure? These are questions more significant than any frequency chart could ever answer. So I say this: stay adventurous in your voyage through intimacy. Stay connected with your partner's needs and desires. Make every moment count, because nothing amplifies intimacy better than presence. Being fully here and now with your loved one. In conclusion, there's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to how often should you have sex, according to your age. But now, armed with perspective and understanding, I hope you feel empowered enough to make that choice for yourself. To find out your now, let the world fade away as desire takes precedence. Let sparks fly as bodies entwine. After all,